I actually come from British Guyana.
I came from Nevis, one of 3 islands forming the presidency with St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla.
I'm from Portland, Jamaica. I came to join my husband.
I came to England for quite a few reasons.
I was very adventurous. I worked on 2 ships, which I didn't need to, but I wanted to see what life is like, other to being stuck under my parents.
I left Nevis, went to St. Kitts, and took the steamer from St. Kitts to Genoa.
We were on this big Spanish boat for 21 days. So that was murder, to be honest. It was very hard.
Good 400 of us came on the Empire Windrush. Well, I was around this bottom here. I think the second or third. I was actually in the middle of the ship. And that was the year 1948. We arrived at Tilbury Dock on the 7th of June.
Well, from New Haven, we were put on a train to London. And then from London, a train to Birmingham New Street.
After we get off the boat, we have to take the ferry. And then you get a train. And when I was sitting on the train and the train stopped in London for us to come off, I didn't want to come off. Because I hate you not to see, to be honest. So I sat there for a little while and a lady came back and said to me, "And you're coming off the train. All the men, your husband or whatever hotel looking for you." I sat there, I don't know, I didn't want to get off.
Then we were taken from Tilbury Dock to Clapham Common. Those who had friends and relatives living in England, there was issue with pass to travel to wherever they're going. Well, I had no one in England, so I went to Clapham Common.
Well, the truth is, when I came here and I go down there, I didn't expect place to be like that here. Because it's tatty and shabby and so on, and we think it would be looking nice, you know what I mean? That's the truth.
Well, we thought all the houses were factories. That's one of the things that got us. We thought they were all factories, for the chimneys and stuff. We didn't know the use of the chimneys.
And I was coming home the night and somebody said to me outside the park, when I look out there, I couldn't see anybody. So I came out to walk up this street and I feel against the wall because I'm feeling to see where I was and I feel a man. And he said, "Oh," and I keep quiet because I was saying, if it was now and you're feeling him, you turn back and grab you, and I've never known. I shut my mouth, I couldn't see.
Then as the winter came in, we started to find out that it's really cold. Nothing like the Caribbean.
I came to join my husband. He was here 6 months before me, and then he was a shoemaker at home, make shoes. But when he came here, the only place that used to have a handmade shoe shop was in Manchester. And he was already in Birmingham. So he had to go to night school to learn engineer. So when he goes to work, come home 5 o'clock. Then I used to go and do a few hours in the evening till 9.
When I was in the Caribbean, the jobs that I used to do, I used to work for Public Works. So I came here, I made application to the prison service, which They said I was alright, but they weren't ready for black people doing that job yet. So I had to look elsewhere. Well, as I said, I wanted to get my family up rather urgently, so I took what I could have got.
I remember the first money I got. Woolworth was nearby, and I went. I can't remember now. I can't remember how much it was, but they used to have Terry Lynn baby nappies, and I went in there and buy 12. I think that was my whole week wages. No, I can't remember how much it is, but I remember I went in there and I bought 12.
Most of my friends were coming down to Shropshire, so I went and registered with this foundry. Arriving in Telford, there was few coaches there, only 38 of us, and they took us and showed us the foundry where we supposed to be start work.
Well, I applied for bus conducting. I got the job when I came after a month, but I couldn't tell the authorities that I had just come in the country because I knew nowhere. But going on the buses, especially on the number 11 around Birmingham, it helps.
You just stay, you just live. You know you had to live there, and everything was depressing and really hard, depressing. Yes, but I think I'm a survivor. You could get beef, stale black beef. Well, I find it black, and you take it on, you go with it black, and you put it to cook it like froth. That wasn't very nice to us. Yes, we could make a meal out of many things. If some people have rice, they could make porridge, they could make soft rice and peas because it's already soppy and things like that. You could get Quaker oats and then we would make, yes, I didn't find it too bad with the food.
I met my wife, she's from Austria. She was very good to me. England was a strange country to her, and England was a strange country to me. So we got together, we got married, and I have 3 lovely children. I'm very proud of them.
Well, with the conducting, they put you through a test with like arithmetic, adding up pound, shilling and pence. That's what it was then. And then you had to write, I can't remember, I had to write an imaginary accident report.
Well, the 3 of us used to mostly move together to fight. One fellow named we called Ballerina, one fellow we called Bebop. Those are the other 2 boxers in the crowd and myself. We went to a dance, and this lad, colored lad, was dancing with a white girl. And this white lad pulled the girl away, and of course he defended this girl. And one fight broke out, the whole hall was smashed up. The fight ended up in the street. About 6 or 7 England lad had him against the wall and beat him up. So I recognized David, and I got him, and I knocked 2 out. One they took to Shrewsbury Hospital.
I think I'm a survivor. That's the truth, because it was very hard. You didn't have time. I didn't have time to make friends, really. And at that time, I find a few black people that was here were more loving to each other. You would find they would visit you on a Sunday. I don't think I did a lot of visiting because I had the children to look after, so I didn't do that. But they used to come and visit us. And you cry a little, and mourn a little, quarrel a little, why did you send for me? But as time goes by, You get accustomed to whatever it is. You know, there is one thing about human. We have to worship. And if we don't worship God, we'll worship the devil. And you could know the devil work is not love. It's fighting, swearing, cussing, drinking, and drunking. Because it uplifts me. I know God is always there for me. When I cry to Him, He listens. He take me, He listen to me. And I tell you something. I never ever pray for anything, especially for myself, because I never ask anything. So, but yes, one thing. I ask that I might be can think for myself. No matter what happens, let me can think for myself. And God promised that He says, let your desire be known to me. And my desire is to be with Him after I die. So those are the things. Is that it? You can have
It is wonderful, really, when all of us, on this occasion,
He worked very hard, and he never sick. He had a little pain at his back when he sit to that corner there too long. And the Thursday, a young lady took me shopping, and he said he was going to the doctor the Friday morning for his back. And then he came upstairs and said, "Oh, I'm not feeling too good." I called the doctor, and while he just stand up, I hear boom, and he just fell. So I called the ambulance, and they came. I get strength anyhow. I pull his head over, and they called the ambulance, and they took him to the hospital. That was a Friday, midday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. He died early Tuesday morning. I don't think he would cope as much as I cope if it was me die. I don't think he could do it. The Bible says when you die, your thought perish. Until when Christ come, every eye should see him, and he will give back everybody their breath. Some to life everlasting and some to hell destruction. So therefore I don't believe he's looking down. I just believe he die and it's like a piece of meat, it rot. But the memory is always there. The best thing I have that my children grow up and they love me and I love them, and grandchildren, and that's the best thing I have. I have probably about 36 grandchildren, 9 great-grand, 10 children, so I think they are on a whole. I hear from everyone, almost everyone, every week and every day, so I think that is the blessed thing for me, you know. I lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, who made heaven and earth.
All my bus career was at Perry-Bar Garage. I've been there from 1958 until retired recently. It was different. Even learning to drive, you hadn't been paid, or you had to do it in your own time. And the buses had no power steering, no doors. Of course, it was more responsibility to be a driver, but you had the advantages as well. You did get respect, but if any unpleasantness went on, like say somebody, if you're a conductor and you notice someone is overriding and you might pull them up, ask them to pay some more money or something, they would use insulting remarks most times. Some even would like to punch you or assault you or something, but it's a job and you just had to get on with it. When I started, there were no motorways. Perry Bar had no flyover, Hockley had no flyover, and these roundabouts and God knows what, there weren't many. And if you go into London, you had to go through Coventry. No M6, no nothing. I think driving on the whole in this country, especially if you like bus driving, I think it's, instead of saying a good bus driver, a bad bus driver, I think bus driving or driving is just sheer luck. Sometimes you could be as careful as ever, and all in a sudden, out of the blue, something happened, which really make you look like you're a bad driver. One of the things I looked at was that when you work for the bus company and you're sick, you get your pay. You get a sick pay, which you could have managed then. Well, coming to England, most people felt that they would have come and spent 5 years. But as time goes on, I had a family there when I left the West Indies. And after I came, I took the children up, so I know I couldn't go back straight away. But after the children grew up, I just feel like staying on. When I started on £9, 13 and 11 or something like that per week. That's training as a conductor. And after you passed out, I got £11 something a week. I came to friends and really I can't remember how much I had to give, but I know I did contribute. But then, in those days, £1 meant a lot. Even half a crown meant a lot, 2 and 6 pence. I can't remember, like, beer. You could have bought a pint of beer for 8 pence, maybe less. One of the main things in mind it was to get my family together. So I started working and trying to save to get my own property. I brought up my children, send them to school, look after them till they become of age to take care of themselves. I knew that I had a hard time bringing up my family. There were a lot of tragedies. I lost my wife. Then I had a daughter, got killed. And those sort of things really stress you out. But still there were good things. So to survive you have to mix the good with the bad. And it needs a lot of patience, a lot of perseverance. And provided you give it a good crack of the whip, well, in my circumstances, I have no regrets.
I originally come from British Guyana, Georgetown. I was born 15th of January, or was it the 14th of January, 1922. I love women, and I love fighting, and I love gambling, don't forget that. I love gambling too. Back home, I never allowed anyone to try to abuse me or talk to me funny. I punched them. My father had a bakery, and they will go there and tell my father, Peter Ho's son beat up my son, came home all in blood. Well, that's what used to happen. And my father used to say, you disgrace me. You disgrace the family. I love it. I love fighting, even street fighting. I was very artful in boxing. Very, very artful. So I could have defended myself then. And I have a very good right hand and a left hook. Sometimes I think and consider what I used to do. What is my nature? I couldn't help it. I didn't need to come to England because my father was very, very wealthy. Very wealthy. When I left school, I used to do the bookkeeping for him. Then I got the job. I asked his permission if I can accept a ship job or look for a ship job. He gave me his permission. So I went and worked on the foreship by the SS named SS Gamma. And eventually it caught a fire off Trinidad. And I lost everything. We were compensated. Then I get a job on the SS Blackbeard. We used to do regular trips to Jamaica. After the war started, Winston Churchill wanted for us to come in the RAF for the army. So I volunteered, myself and others. Eventually, I missed the ship coming to England in the RAF. I done my service at home. After the war, they wanted us to return to England, which was known as our mother country. It was the Empire Windrush. Oh, it was huge. It was huge, massive ship. Very, very entertaining because they had dancing, they had, what do you call it, floor shows, and it's a fantastic scenery. Fantastic. I was thrilled. When we docked, there was cameramen, and I was just coming out the galley at the time for breakfast, and I was waving a cup so as to be noticed. Well, when we arrived, it was mild. What's going on? This house on fire? Smoke coming out the chimney, not knowing that there was coal fire in those days. So when I came to Telford, I've never seen houses like that in the West Indies, different altogether. And they took us and showed us the foundry where we supposed to be start work. Then they took us from the foundry to a place where they call Apley Castle Hostel, and we registered. We started to work the following week at the foundry, and couple of weeks after, the lad said, "Oh, there's a boxing at fair in Oaken Gates, and there's boxing booth there." So I said yes. So the Friday I got my gears and I went with the intention to fight. So on the stage they had few boxers, and they said, "Who would like to challenge one of these boxers?" So of course I put my hand up. I said, "Who would you like to fight?" I said, "That one there, he's my size." So when I got into the ring, I saw this lad in the ring and I said, "Well, excuse me, this is not the lad that I challenge." He says, "Oh, the lad that you challenge is not well, so we replace a substitute." So of course he was bigger than me. I wasn't afraid, and I knocked him out in the second round. Some of the lads wouldn't go out from the hostel. They're afraid to get out. The white lads used to abuse us. "Why don't you all moonshine blackie go back to your country?" Well, of course, I wouldn't stand for that. Some of the colored lads who couldn't fight, defend themselves, they used to run. So I used to stop and defend them as much as possible. I never ever been on the losing side. I guess it's my nature. I usually go to the bookie. I win 2, 3, 4, 5,000 pounds and spend it in the home with paying off higher porches, paying bills. My wife used to put the rent money in a tin. Sometime when I lose on the dogs, I say, well, the only way I can get this money is to take the rent money. And I used to go and lose it. On Monday when the rent man called, my wife goes in the tin and there's no rent money. So when I come home on the Monday night, there's problems, quarrel. Well, of course I'm divorced. I live in my own life. My wife is living her own life now. But we do get in touch with each other. She's at present living in Canada. Whenever I go to Canada, we see each other. I have no regrets. It's my mother country. They abuse us in the street. Why don't you go back to your country, blackie, darkie, moonshine, whatever name they feel to call us. I said, well, this is my country and I serve my country and I'm entitled to here. I born under the British flag, the red, white and blue. I'm English, true born under the British flag. So I'm entitled, so don't you shut up, don't worry, tell me go back to my country or else you'll be having one. Yes, you'll be having one. That's right and such like, but I met my wife, I have a beautiful family. I worked all through my life from the day I arrived. Well, today, with our help, coming to England, we rebuild England. And I am proud. And the generation of today should be proud and happy of us who came in the 1940s.